Lee, it's a very fast circuit. You're coming onto the straight pretty well flat out. You're getting to 280 kilometres an hour down the straight, only about 15 shorter than at Conrod Straight at Bathurst. And through Southern Loop, you've got a passing area. There are some great spots to pass here.
Well, let's have a look at how they line up the Shell Helix grid for you. It is Glenn Seaton on pole position alongside Greg Murphy, Peter Brock and John Bowe.
Out of row 3, Russell Ingall and Alan Jones. Row 4, Larry Perkins and Dick Johnson.
The 5th row of the grid. A little further back with some work to do is Wayne Gardner and Tony Longhurst. Stephen Richards alongside Mark Larkham.
Plenty of V8s at Phillip Island. Paul Romano and Stephen Ellery. Row 8, Stephen Johnson and John Trimble.
Moving it back to row 9, the youngster Darren Hossack alongside Mark Poole, Trevor Ashby and Terry Finnegan.
And the last 2 rows of the grid, Ian Palmer and Ray Hislop from Tasmania, Michael Hart and John Faulkner with engine dramas in practice, starts off the back of the grid.
It's going to be tough for John Faulkner. He's got a lot of work to do. We get ourselves ready for the first 20-minute race. Round 2 of the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Seaton and Murphy, they share the front row of the grid. Glenn Seaton has won 3 of the past 4 years here. Could this be his 4th? We get ready to go. The lights are green. We are away. Murphy got away to a terrific start. He got away much better than Seaton. There's mayhem on the start. One car stalled out. They were just scurrying, trying to get around that car. I didn't pick up who it was. Oh!
There's been a big accident. Yeah, Peter Brock stuck on the line. There's Paul Romano. There's been a number of cars involved in that dust. Yellow flags waving.
Cars just going everywhere. It is Mark Larkham in the Mitre 10 Falcon.
This guy is jinxed. There is no 2 ways about it.
Look at the damage on that car.
Lee, that car is destroyed. They'll be taking that one to the tip for sure.
Well, the cars were just going everywhere as they came over the hill. Just under the bridge there is Paul Romano. He's okay, he's looking around, but the car off to the side of the circuit. We saw that Greg Murphy got away to a terrific start. One other car stalled on the grid, and they were just scurrying around that. Now, whether that's caused that later incident, Mark.
Good example, too, of just the amount of acceleration these cars have got coming off the start line. By the time those guys a bit further back in the grid have hit the start-finish line, they have got plenty of speed on board. Let's look at this on the Shell Helix replay.
See if we can decipher who has done what.
So the Mobile Holden Racing Team car in the front, Jones made an excellent start too, and there's a collision back there between Mark Larkham. You could see Larkham collide with someone and kapow.
Romano was in there, whether he made initial contact or not, it was very hard to work out.
Charlie, how did you see?
Yes, definitely I'd say Romano may have tapped the back of Mark Larkham's car there that sent Mark into the wall. I just saw through the vehicles there, and I'd say that's probably what happened.
As you could see quite graphically there, a massive impact into the earth bank. There's Mark Larkham. He's okay, he's out of the car, but that car, ex-pack leader racing car driven by Paul Romano, ironically enough, last year, now running in Mitre 10 colours, and that is basically destroyed.
Well, Mark Larkham had a very big impact with the tyre wall here last year, and unfortunately he's come in contact with the earth wall here right at the start of race 1 today. Let's have a look at the replay. Mark Larkham is involved in a very, very heavy incident. Crunch right into that earth wall. Paul Romano involved as well.
Lee, yes, definitely a bad accident, that one. It looked like Paul Romano just tapped the back of Mark Larkham's car that sent him into the wall there. I can't tell you, Mark Larkham has had the worst run of luck. He should be in the Guinness Book of Records.
Just incredible when you think back to the Shell Series last year at Malala when he got caught up in that first lap incident, destroyed the car there before he had to go to Bathurst. And keep in mind too, that was his best qualifying performance in V8 Supercar. So yeah, no doubt about it, this guy is jinxed. There's no sunshine on him today.
There is now a vacancy behind Glenn Seaton. Peter Brock will not be in the restart. We are ready for a restart. Green lights, away we go. Murphy a little sideways off the line. Seaton a better start this time round, and we all get away to a clear start. It's the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton, though, who will take this field of 23 through the first turn.
Boy, it's a big day for the Fords too. This is the first pole position for a Falcon since Malala, round 9 of the series last year, though the Fords have been out of it for a number of races, but Seaton absolutely dominant through private practice and in qualifying and showing the speed here in this opening lap.
Greg Murphy tucked in nicely behind. Then we pick up Russell Ingall, his teammate Larry Perkins, and the first of the Shell Fords.
Notice too, the race distance has been reduced from 12 laps down to 10 because of that accident. Seaton in command. Now Murphy tries to muscle the Ford Credit. He gets a bit from the Castrol Commodore. Comes up behind him too.
Russell Engel really climbing all over the back of Greg Murphy.
Well, a bit of battle damage there, right across the back bumper of Seaton's car. Murphy leaving him in no doubt. He means business here at Phillip Island today. Here they come, thundering up toward Lukey Heights, building up to over 200 kilometres an hour. Hear the roar, these 600 horsepower V8 monsters as they head over Lukey Heights the first time. Seaton's got his rear view mirror full of Holden Racing Team Commodore. Then it's Russell Engel, Larry Perkins in the first of the Shell Fords.
Glenn Seaton is in a terrific position this weekend. He's second in the championship points. And the man who leads him and leads the field, Wayne Gardner, is well back in this particular field, having some tyre problems this weekend. So things are looking pretty shiny for Glenn Seaton. Look at the damage in the back of the Falcon, courtesy of the HRT machine of Greg Murphy. Copped a bit of a slam in Honda corner. Seaton pulls out a bit of a gap over Murphy.
Well, Greg Murphy didn't want Glenn Seaton to run away. He knew he was that Glenn was faster in practice, and you can't let that driver get that little break. You've got to keep hurrying him up.
Seaton leads the pack around Southern Loop. We take onboard camera with Glenn Seaton as he shifts up through the gears. Hammers down through here under the Foster's Bridge, down toward Honda Corner for the second time. Very important race this for Glenn Seaton, working back through that 6-speed Hollinger gearbox as he muscles the nose of the car into the apex, working really hard here to close the door on Greg Murphy, his pursuer.
The Bridgestones are working very nicely this weekend. Have a look at that. Beautiful shot out of the front of our lead car, the number 30 Ford Credit Falcon. Seaton was very happy yesterday afternoon after qualifying. He said everything was going well. And, well, so it should after such a disastrous last weekend for him. We've had a change of position. Engel is now up into second ahead of Greg Murphy.
Russell Engel really is on fire in 1997. Had a very conservative run last year just to play himself in, but this year he is going after the championship and he is showing some tremendous speed in this car. Absolutely dominant at the AGP. He was very quick at Calder and on the streets of Indy. And now at Phillip Island, continuing that fine form. The Castrol Commodores are really on the pace in 1997.
Well, speaking of being on the pace, Charlie, just how far has Glenn Seaton pulled out from the rest of the field already?
Well, as I said, he had about a half a second gap over the field yesterday in practice, and of course, come race day, I'd like to have that sort of break. The Dunlop people have certainly done some work with their tyres, and they've got Russell Engel up there in second place. Great effort.
Well, Phil Lack from Laser Technologies, our man with the laser speed down the straight, a little over 270.
Well, they said that Seaton was going to be quick here. He's just set a new lap record, a 1:34.55, his first flying lap. Oh, we've had a drama here. Wayne Gardner in the Coca-Cola Commodore. He's lost it at the loop. Doesn't look like there's any damage there. We go on board with the world champ. Flings it back onto the tarmac. Whether he was tapped or whether he lost it on his own, we don't know at this stage. But he's gone right to the back of this angry pack.
Let's take a look at a replay of that situation. Here he goes. He's gone very, very wide and just overshot it.
Just went in there a little bit too fast by the look of it, and it understeered off in the dirt. That corner there tightens up. The further you go around the corner, tightens up. So it's a very difficult, fast corner.
Very close too. One of the Shell cars sneaking through there as Gardner brought it back on, coming across the grass at close to 200 kilometres an hour. A wild ride. Let's look at that again on the Shell Helix replay from the back of the Coca-Cola Commodore. Getting very agricultural. He's coming across, and look at that. Very, very close to the Shell Ford. Spins it around to get some speed off the car and manages to avoid too much damage.
Well, he resigned himself to the fact. He said, I virtually know that I can't win this weekend. He had some tyre trouble, so it's not looking too good for him at the moment. The last time round, Glenn Seaton had a little over a 3-second lead over Russell Engel in the Castrol Commodore. That looks like it remains. It's actually gone out to 4.5 seconds now. The gap from first back to second, it is still Russell Engel, Greg Murphy and Larry Perkins sitting back there in fourth.
John Bowe in fifth, Alan Jones in sixth, Dick Johnson back in seventh, and it's Longhurst, Ellery and Gardner, the three Yokohama cars. Seaton going faster again. Just so much speed aboard the Ford Credit Falcon. He's opened up a gap on Engel, 3.3 seconds. He is absolutely hammering this field into submission.
This is where we see the action. Greg Murphy trying for that inside line, and Engel gets out of shape as well.
Might have been a bit of contact there too, and they came under brakes. Larry Perkins comes up to complete the Castrol sandwich on the Holden Racing Team driver. Murphy really in the wars at Calder Park under lights. And now he's having to face up to it again in this beautiful sunshine at Phillip Island. There's the order at the top left of your screen.
Well, Charlie, it was these two guys that were dominating up at Surfers Paradise last weekend. Murphy won the first, Ingle won the second.
Well, the dice continues here. I think that was a little tap from Greg going into Honda corner there. And this is the dice to watch between these two drivers.
Oh, look at Murphy get all skated. He comes over the cars and a very light there. A lot of the sprung weight of the cars right up on its springs. Look at another one. Contact between John Faulkner and Paul Romano in the wars again.
So Romano has been involved in both incidents. Both of our main incidents today. The one originally with Mark Larkham, that one with John Faulkner, and he's now got a lot of work to do.
And here's this great battle for second and third. It's been on since the second green light we had up at Axon. Look at Murphy now. Tries to get a bit of a toe. Run down the outside. 270 kilometres an hour, and Murphy takes him.
Unbelievable. Greg Murphy has gone right around the outside. Now Russell wants a piece of the action as well. Coming right up.
No guts, no glory. Greg Murphy shows that there. Really quick run onto the straight. Look at Ingle muscling the back of the Holden Racing Team Commodore, leaning on him big time. Now he's got a good fast run out of the Southern Loop. They'll go side by side under the Foster's Bridge at 240 kilometres an hour. And there'll be a great braking duel as they come down toward Honda corner this time. Perkins wants a slice of the action too. There's little rocks and debris across the circuit. Murphy now holds on to that position. Perkins joins in the war.
Mark, that was probably about the best half lap that I've seen in racing. That was great racing. Door handle to door handle. Push the driver out, making driver on the outside. Great stuff.
Well, Greg Murphy's currently shared third spot in the championship points. He wants a good, consistent round, and he's having a fantastic battle with the Castrol Commodore of Larry Perkins. Easy to pick Larry out over his teammate, Russell Ingle out over Larry. Russell's got the yellow stripe across his windscreen. Larry doesn't.
John Bow too, applying plenty of pressure. This is a great battle. All the way back, Murphy, Ingle, Perkins, Bow, Jones, Johnson, they're all in this big pack, and that great shot. High up, panoramic view of Phillip Island as they bring it on 200 kilometres an hour onto the main straight. Fantastic battle amongst the V8 supercars. We're approaching half distance.
To Glenn Seaton, let's not forget about our race leader, but we're watching this great battle for second and third. The mobile HRT machine of Greg Murphy sits there at the moment. Larry Perkins a little further back in fourth. His teammate Russell Ingle chasing hard. We've got the speed at 269 kilometres per hour down the main straight.
We saw speeds as high as 277, almost 280 kilometres an hour. That's 180 miles an hour on the old scale. That's the sort of speed these cars are doing in Conrod Straight at Bathurst. Gives you some idea of just how fast these cars are around Phillip Island.
John Bow and Alan Jones staying in touch as well. Further back for the minor placings, Bow sitting in fifth, Alan Jones back in sixth as we watch Ingle all over the back of Greg Murphy.
And Charlie O'Brien, you've been involved in plenty of biff and bars down at Phillip Island. What would Ingle be trying to do here? What are you thinking in terms of a good overtaking opportunity?
Well, I think he'd be trying to maybe just unnerve him, give him a little push coming around the corner, just slow his exit speed down a little. But I do notice here that Greg Murphy's car is a little loose. It could oversteer him coming out of the turns. Now, maybe in a few laps' time, that may hinder the rear tyres.
Here is our race leader, the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton. The gap is now a little over 8 seconds. He has just cleared out from the rest of the pack, and he has left Greg Murphy and Russell Ingle behind.
Well, this is just a show of the absolute dominance of this Ford Credit car. It started from the first untimed session when he went out and did a 1:33.1, almost 2 seconds under his own lap record set 2 years ago. A 33.4 in the second session, went out in qualifying, only a tenth quicker than that, a 33.25. So Seaton has just been absolutely dominant in terms of overall pace here. As we take the onboard camera, you're riding with Glenn Seaton. He's got the drink straw in his mouth, keeping up those body fluids, but looking very cool, calm and collected at the wheel, the Ford Credit Falcon. He's brought it down again too, a 1:35.31. So he is absolutely flying.
This car that we are riding with at the moment, we're in with Glenn Seaton, is of course his #1 car. The team made the decision last weekend at Indy to use his old car that he ran last year, and that decision certainly paid off after the throttle stuck and he went very, very hard into the tyre barrier.
It's just funny looking at him, looking in the rearview mirror. He looks out the door, he says, "Where is everyone?"
Well, we've had John Bow come right up on Larry Perkins now. This is the battle 4th, 5th and 6th. John Bow is suffering from some front-end problems, some handling problems, Charlie, and that was a little frustrating for him, but he's not going too bad at the moment.
No, he was saying yesterday that they have a little lack of speed through the middle of the turns, just understeering a little. And of course, on a track that's this fast, you have to carry that speed all the way around the corner. So that is why John's a little bit back down the field where he's not used to being.
But Alan Jones gets a wheel up on the strip there. They brake hard over Lukey Heights down to this very tight turn, firing back toward the main straight. So the order now, Seaton, he's pumped it out 7 seconds over Greg Murphy and Ingle. Perkins in 4th. This great battle here for 4th, 5th and 6th positions.
Alan Jones trying to stay in touch. You can see the Shell Helix Falcon of John Bowe. He's got a little bit extra legs on him down the straight, but Jones starting to make it up through the corners. Lap 7 of 10. We are winding this one down after a disastrous start with the Mark Larkham incident, and we saw that Mark was okay. He got out of the car straight away. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. The Castrol Commodore of Larry Perkins. He also had a great run at Indy Carnival last weekend. And he has got a rear view mirror full of John Bowe.
It's going to be a great opportunity for Ingle and Seaton too at this meeting. Currently 2nd and 3rd in the overall point standings. That spin by Gardner putting him to the back of the field will let him close up the points battle. But there's a great battle here. Perkins, Bowe and Jones.
Notice Larry locked the rear brakes there a little. Probably be reaching right now for that adjustment bar beside his seat just to give a bit more brakes on the front.
It's a fairly even split tyre-wise. In the top 6, we've got 3 on Bridgestone, 3 on Dunlop. So can't ask for better than that, Mark.
This is quite an impressive run from the Dunlop boys too. They were dreading coming down here knowing the Bridgestone domination, but good speed in qualifying. They're running the tyre that they used at the AGP down at Albert Park, and they used that very effectively when Ingle absolutely dominated. Look at Bowe. He's not giving Larry Perkins any sort of breathing space whatsoever as he gets up right behind the Castrol Commodore, heading back toward the main straight once again. Bowe really on the attack.
And whichever camp you're in, Ford or Holden, you couldn't whinge because you got 3 of each in the top 6 as well. Glenn Seaton, though, for the Ford fans, leads the way with 2 laps remaining in this. The reduced lappage from 12 down to 10 because of that earlier incident, and we are very close to home now.
Thundering down the main straight. So that speed before on the radar gun. 270 kilometres an hour. Perkins still in command. Bowe right behind him looking for an opportunity. Alan Jones just drops back a couple of car lengths. There's Russell Ingle trying to make up the gap to Greg Murphy in 2nd position. So it's Seaton, Murphy and Ingle in that battle. 4th, 5th and 6th. Perkins, Bowe and Jones with Johnson, Longhurst, Ellery and Faulkner now up into the top 10.
Faulkner, the best of the privateers, sitting in 10th position. So he's certainly going well after a fairly unsatisfactory start to the weekend. He had a bit of bad luck, but he hasn't let it get to him, sitting in 10th position.
Well, Seaton is just backing off now. Looks like the gap's down to 5.5 seconds. He's just done a 36 dead. So he's winding the pace back a little bit. There's the gap, 5.52 seconds over this man, Greg Murphy, in 2nd position. Ingle still hot in pursuit in the Castrol Commodore. So the field's become quite spaced out. These final laps unfold.
Greg Murphy will be pleased with that, sitting in 2nd spot. He doesn't like to lose, but it's all about championship points. And he had a bit of a tussle with Glenn earlier on, a bit of nudge, nudge, wink, wink, but he pulled back from that. Glenn escaped from him. He had a bit of a wrestle with Russell Ingle earlier on, but he's done well to maintain his 2nd spot.
Well, I think Greg would have forgotten about Glenn Seaton on about the 2nd lap when he saw Glenn driving away in the distance.
But I guess, Charlie O'Brien, that's what winning championships is all about. You've got 10 rounds to do it, 30 races in all. You just got to keep compiling those points.
It goes to show that all the testing that Glenn has done down here at Phillip Island, being his home test track, is paying off. You know, this sort of gap that he is driving away from the rest of the races by is quite unbelievable.
We're on our way home. This is the last lap, the opening race of the 2nd round of this year's Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Keep you in touch. Wayne Gardner is back in 13th position after that earlier spin. Stephen Ellery's done well to get up inside the top 10 as we watch Russell Ingle try everything he possibly can on the last lap as he comes up on Murphy.
Certainly get the feeling it's not over yet. Here's our race leader just up ahead of them. Seaton backed off a 1:37 last time across the line, so he's really taking it easy. The gap down just over 4 seconds now. Seaton knows he has plenty in hand. As he dominates this race, we go on board with Glenn Seaton as he brings it around this final lap. Lap 10 be completed this time around. Still sucking on that drink straw. It looks so relaxed. Looks like he's driving down to the shops. Doing it very, very easy. Coming up toward Lukey Heights. Ford Credit Falcon, this would be a great comeback for Seaton after that terrible run at Surfers Paradise where his spare car got hammered, and he's come back flying colours as the championship continues.
He is just one of the nicest blokes in racing. He doesn't carry any attitude with him. He said he knew that he was going to have a good weekend, but didn't let himself get carried away. He said, we'll wait and see. Qualified on pole, hasn't looked back since. He's done very, very well. He's had a great race. The Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton comes through to take the win.
Yeah, but just
go back to second and third.
Just saw that Russell Ingall coming in second position under where Murphy's got to. We just saw him out of shot. So Ingall now has finished second, Murphy in third.
Mark, it'd be very interesting to see if Greg fell off the track on his own accord.
Well, Ingall was really attacking on that final lap, but maybe we'll see that later on. Here's our race winner, Glenn Seaton, looking back in that rear-view mirror. Where is everyone? There's Murphy. Now has joined Ingall on the cool-down lap. And Ingall really was attacking on that final tour. Look at the debris and rocks and things all over the track. The guys have been running, dragging a bit of dirt onto the circuit, but didn't have any effect on this man. Glenn Seaton just about emptied his drink bottle.
Judging by the speed that Greg Murphy was returning to the pits too, I don't think he's a very happy man. But nonetheless, a great win to this bloke. Glenn Seaton in for the win in race one. He'll be very satisfied with that. So too will the Ford Credit team. We'll have a look at what happened to Greg Murphy with Russell Ingall. Why? Oh, there you go. He has run off the track.
Yeah, just coming over the top of Lukey Heights. Maybe Russell's had a big go at him under brakes there. Maybe a collision. Or maybe he's gone off on his own accord. It'll be interesting to find out later on.
So Greg Murphy very quickly went from second back to third on the final lap. It was almost the final corner as well. Let's have a look at the Shell Helix race score for you. The final placings: Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon in for the win. Ingall, as we said, in for second. Murphy third. Larry Perkins in for fourth. And John Bowe in for fifth. Stay with us here on Network 10. We'll be back after this.